Hello all my Kinvians and welcome to a new episode of Discovering Steven Universe. I apologize for the delay, but just like with Discovering Doctor Who, I'm sure you probably know the reason why there's been delays, and if not, well, I'll provide a link to one of the videos explaining why down below. But today, the episode I'm going to be watching is Historical Friction. Further history of maybe when Pearl and Garnet have had a falling out? I don't know, but let's get right into it with Historical Friction. And again, I apologize for any loud noise coming from the computer. Very soon, I will be using that computer, and it is going to be much quieter in the future. I think I said future 3 times. Let's move on.
If you need a great actor, you come to the right guy.
What was that?
An accent?
From where?
I don't know.
Acting!
Jamie!
Historical tale with a lot of sentimental and political importance to me.
Political importance to Mayor Dewey? Who would have thought?
Would you like to sit in on the rehearsal, man? See his struggles.
The great William Dewey didn't struggle. He was good at everything on the first try. Just
What is he,
like
Kim
we
Jong-il?
about this play. Not
Kim
much
Jong-un?
needs to be changed.
But maybe...
What really happened?
Well, for starters, ruggedly handsome seems rather generous.
This is so that was written by someone who lived it. Make or break my career.
You could lose your job at the post office?
There's some freaky shadow puppets, especially considering there's no bottom to the shadow.
Gentle boys, tonight,
This wasn't in the budget either. Greetings.
I am Pearl. Well then,
You should turn around lest you fall into the sea. And you know, humans aren't very good swimmers.
I'll be adults I am. Why must I always struggle?
Oh, what's 200 years between friends?
Wow! I must be off then to bask in the adulation of my constituents.
You know...
And to squee because he got touched by Pearl.
That story.
Art doesn't always need a reason, Pearl. Sometimes you just gotta make the audience happy. That's why you always end on a joke.
Or a non-joke. I really want to know what that's building up to. I really, really do. I really, really do. I really want to know what that's building up to. Why am I talking like this? I don't know, but I kind of hurt my throat doing that. Alright, so that was Historical Friction. Gonna go over my thoughts, get down some notes here, and I will see you all for the review portion of this video. Hello all my Kinvians and welcome to the review portion of this video. Now, without wasting any time, let's get right into it with my favorite parts about this episode. Starting with the return of Jamie. Yeah, the last episode that he was there, I can't really remember my full feelings about that episode where he had the hots for Garnet. But I do like seeing him when he pops up. My feelings about the character himself kind of waver depending on what's going on, but this was definitely one of his more solid episodes of the 2 or maybe kind of 3, like maybe 2.3 episodes that he's actually been in. But yeah, so the return of Jamie, I really like that. My second favorite part about this episode was Steven's accent, acting. He didn't know what the accent was. It was apparently a poorly executed Italian accent. I apologize for nothing for doing this really bad accent as an example. But you see, if you want to do a kind of accent, or if you really want to, do your voice in a certain way, you have to commit, even if you know you're not doing a very good job. I know myself. I cannot do a, what do you call, British accent very well, but I will try all the same. I honestly don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, that's my second favorite part of the episode. Steven's accent that he uses twice. But anyway, moving on from there. My third favorite part about this episode was very simply William Dewey. And I won't say why precisely, but a few members of my family, if you all are watching this, think about it for a second. William Dewey. Yeah. I thought that was kind of interesting too. But if you're curious what I'm talking about, feel free to message me. It's not something I'm going to write out in the comments, but message me in some form and I'll let you know the connection there. But moving on from there, my fourth favorite part of this episode was when they were doing the rehearsal and the original little, Mayor Dewey's version of the script. I liked the art that they used there. It was very simple. It's like, the method of shading was interesting. It looked like a comic book, which was appropriate because, to the best of my knowledge, there really wasn't any moving. I think they were all still images. But I honestly really like the art that they used there. So yeah, I really like that part. Just the story's art, or Mayor Dewey's script's art. Not sure how I'm going to put that in the video, but you all have already seen what I wrote in the video. So I'm going to move on. My next favorite part about this episode was that Pearl was actually there to meet William Dewey, which makes a lot of sense because the crystal gems have been there for thousands of years. So it makes sense that when not necessarily the first humans, but some of the first, foreigners came to the area that became Beach City, that Pearl and the crystal gems would be there to meet them or to kind of greet them in a way. So yeah, I really like that. And that also connects to, in the same scene, my next favorite part, which was Pearl's acknowledgement of Steven's little nugget of wisdom there. It's like she acknowledges them. She says, "When did you get so smart?" And I found that really cool because she acknowledges that, he's still a kid. He's still immature. He has a lot of learning to do as a character and as a fictional person. But through all the things he's been through, he has gained some knowledge, some wisdom, shall we say, that a lot of kids, fictional or real, his age, might not fully have a grasp of. But he put it really well, which is something I'll touch on in a few minutes. But yeah, just Pearl's acknowledgement of Steven's nugget of wisdom. I really like that part of this episode. And moving on, my next favorite part of this episode was just the entire segment of the tale of William Dewey. Just everything about it, the way it was acted, it's kind of hard to talk about when you have, fictional characters in a cartoon doing a play. But you know what I mean. The appearance of the crystal gems, aka Jamie dressed up as Pearl, then as Garnet, and then the mop was I can't even. I just absolutely love that entire segment. It may have, even if the rest of the episode was kind of blah, which it wasn't, that section right there would have made the episode worth it for me. And then finally, my last favorite part about this episode was just the simple fact that the episode ended on a non-joke. Literally immediately after Steven says that, to end it with a joke. Yeah, I love anti-jokes, I love non-jokes, so when they take your expectations and make you think, okay, there's a joke coming, and then it doesn't happen, that makes me crack up. I really love that kind of thing. I know it drives some people crazy. I personally know some people that kind of thing drives crazy. But I really like it and I appreciate it, especially in this particular instance. Now, as for annoyances, this is a huge nitpick. I mean, huge nitpick. It is almost completely insignificant, but when Jamie was doing the shadow puppets just before the play started, first of all, as I pointed out, there was no bottom to, like, it didn't show the connecting arms with the shadow as far as like the shape that was there. But also, Jamie was actually moving when he was doing things, and the shadow itself wasn't moving. So those things kind of irked me. It just, like, it was this minor little detail in this entire episode, but it was just one thing that it bothered me for some reason. It made me laugh, don't get me wrong, especially since the second shadow puppet was this terrifying shadow face. But, yeah, it just, for some reason, that did annoy me. But again, I fully acknowledge that it is one of the most minor annoyances and nitpicks that I've probably ever had for this show. So, yeah, and for all I know, there may be a reason. It's like maybe he wasn't doing shadow puppets and those were sentient beings that were trying to communicate something that'll be revealed in an episode or two. I don't know. But as it is, it bothered me. Just a little bit. I mean, much less than it seems like, considering I've gone on for it so long. But I was being kind of dramatic. But, in addition, I don't have any moments of terror, for obvious reasons. This wasn't really a scary or hugely dramatic episode. So, before I move on, if you have any of your own favorites you would like to voice, if you have anything to say about my favorites, my annoyances, and also any annoyances that you would like to point out, please do leave them in the comments down below. I'd, as always, love to hear what you all have to say. Now, moving on from there, as for tracks of the episode, there weren't really any tracks that jumped out to me throughout this entire video. Now, some of that may be masked by the fact that, this computer is noisy and some of the background music, I might have just missed it. But my actual track of the episode for me is the end credits, because I haven't fully referred to that much, except when it actually occurs during the reaction portion. But my track of the episode also brings up my question of the episode, and it's this: the end credits music, is how it's changed, is that a sign of coming change, of something big coming on the horizon? Because whenever stuff has happened with the music in the past, there's been something big coming, and it's been like an indicator for something's gonna change or something crazy's gonna happen. Or is it simply just they decided to do a different version of the end credit song? I mean, it's essentially the same lyrics, but it's a different music, it's sung differently. It's like, was it just a production change in that instance? If that is the case, that it was just a production change, let me know. Or, even let me know if it is actually a sign of a coming change. Just don't reveal what that is, because I want to experience that for myself, obviously. So yeah, okay, so there's my track of the episode, the end credits, and also the question that tied into that. Now finally, I have my quote of the episode, and I probably should have included the entire scene here, but I included primarily what it was that Steven said in response to Pearl when she says that, she wishes that she was perfect and never did anything wrong. And Steven says, "Nobody's like that. Everybody gets stuff wrong, and then you have to keep going, and it's hard, which is why it's great when you never stop trying." And I love this quote because, one, it really is, it's an inspiring line. It's a very wise thing to say. And I also love it because the way it's worded, it shows that nugget of wisdom, but at the same time it also sort of betrays that Steven's youth and his, I guess you can say, just the way he says it makes it clear that it's coming from a kid's point of view. while at the same time being wise. I feel like I'm not making much sense here about this, but it makes sense to me in my head, dang it. So I'm going to stick with that. So yeah, that's my quote of the episode. And you know, just before moving into my overall thoughts about this, you know, anything that you have to say about this episode, whether there's certain tracks that I missed that you would like to point out, maybe there was a moment of terror for you, like when there was fire all around Jamie after he got the news that he was going to be the community theater, head of community theater, whatever it was in Beach City. You know, your own quote, another line that you really liked from this episode, so on and so forth. I would love to hear what you have to say. Now, as for my overall thoughts on this episode, I really liked it. I really liked this episode, and it was one that, in the back of my mind, it kept saying, it's like, you know, this is just kind of a filler episode. There's not really much going on here. And I can... Even now, I can still kind of feel that, but there was enough that happened in this episode that it does make me feel like that this episode was, you know, it does have some significance. If at the very least, it had some significance to Steven and Pearl's relationship, in that he had that nugget of wisdom that helped her out during, you know, all of this that's going on, which, you know, is still the bit of conflict between Pearl and Garnet, which is, you know, it's clear that it's going to come to a resolution soon, but it's just a nice little, it's a slice of life, shall you say, or shall I say. It's a little slice of life moment that really, in my eyes, helps it fit into the other episodes that are coming around it, including the next one, which is coming up, which will be Friendship, which, considering it's two words, friend and then ship, and this episode had characters actually on a ship, well, a ship on a stage, but I'm curious how much this episode will tie into the next one, if at all. I'm sure the name is just completely misleading and I'm trying to read into it too much. But yeah, so the next episode is Friendship. And as always, I want to hear what you all have to say, as I've mentioned like 5 times already throughout this video. I hope you all have enjoyed this video for Historical Friction on discovering Steven Universe. And before I sign off, I do have a few things I want to say. One, if you are interested in my Let's Play videos at all, at this point I have 4 episodes of my Cuphead Let's Play out, which is it's a video game with a early 30s or 1930s art style to it that is really hard and a lot of fun. And then also, I've created a second channel. It's on this website called VidMe, or vid.me, and it's still growing up. At this point, I'm sort of doing an archive of some of my older videos, trying to build it up, and once it reaches 50 followers, I'll be able to unlock the one of the big things, which is when you're not verified, which, you know, you have to get 50 followers in order to do so. You can only upload videos that are no more than 30 minutes, and per week you can only upload 3 gigs worth of video data. And that might seem like a lot, especially for a week span, but it's not. It's like that gets eaten up very quickly. So if you are interested at all in checking out you know, a separate channel of mine, or if even vid.me might be you know, more convenient for you on mobile devices, it is an up-and-coming website, up-and-coming system. You know, give that a try, check it out, let me know what you think, and who knows, down the line I might start doing some you know, separate videos that are sort of VidMe exclusive, or at least, at the very least, separate from YouTube. Oh yeah, and then as always, to all of my patrons over on Patreon, thank you so much for all of your support, and for all of you Kenvians, regardless of whether you're a patron or not, thank you so much for watching these videos. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble, especially since I ended the actual review for this video probably 5 minutes ago. But I will leave it there. Everyone, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you for the next episode of Discovering Steven Universe Friendship. Later days.